listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Yay, you're back in the studio.
I'm back.
Here in the flesh.
I know.
Instead of... I mean, it was great to share the recorded interviews we got to do, but it's nice to have you back in the studio as well. Glad to have you here. Guess what? Now I'm going to leave.
I know. We're like,
for a couple of days.
What is it, like the two ships passing in the night?
Got to enjoy the beautiful fall weather here in the Midwest.
It's in the 40s in the morning now.
You know,
which is crazy.
Pastor Richard just shared on Facebook this morning that they're expecting like 6 to 13 inches of snow in North Dakota. So
I mean, it's North Dakota.
So to our North Dakota listeners, God bless you.
Happy winter.
That's right. Snuggle down inside and listen to a good KFUO podcast.
There's lots of them.
There are.
Especially Lutheran Ladies Lounge.
Does another one roll out today?
Friday.
Yep,
another one
they
rolls
roll
out
Friday.
Fridays at lunchtime on
Very
our website.
Good. Check it out at kfuo.org. I'm not welcome there, so you, my dear Lutheran lady friends, are allowed to go there, but it's not for me.
No
so
boys
check it
allowed.
out. That's right. We have two good things on deck today. Pastor Jason Wagner in studio.
I'm glad you're here.
He's in studio today. He's the Missouri District Life Coordinator, going to share with us about 40 Days of Life campaign here in Missouri and also the national campaign as well. In the second half, yesterday I had the opportunity to talk with our friends from Bethesda Lutheran Communities about job coaches and Disability Employment Awareness Month is this month. So we talked with our friends from Bethesda to share that story. So I'll have that for you in the second half. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
In studio today, Pastor Jason Wagner, Hope Lutheran Church, High Ridge, Missouri, and Missouri District Life Coordinator. Pastor Wagner, thanks so much for joining us in studio today.
Absolutely.
So, first of all, tell us, I misunderstood what the life coordinator was. I thought your job as Missouri District Life Coordinator was to coordinate my life as a Missouri District church worker, but apparently not.
That is not how this works.
What is the Missouri District Life Coordinator?
So each of our districts has an assigned life coordinator, and the position, for the most part, is somewhat undefined. But I'm definitely not coaching people's lives. So it's instead
much better
lifting up the message of God's gift of life within the district, and so helping make connections between congregations and other parachurch ministries, that sort of thing. 40 Days for Life is an example of that, but also encouraging involvement in crisis pregnancy centers, other events that may go on throughout the state. So I've been doing that for about a year, and I've spent a lot of that year just trying to figure out what all goes on in terms of pro-life ministry throughout the state of Missouri. So it's been fun, but there's been a lot to learn and get a sense of the lay of the land.
Always a learning curve with something new. There's so many opportunities. Maybe some of them are unknown to people, which hopefully that's part of what you're doing to help bring awareness to all of these things that people can be doing. Tell us about 40 Days for Life. What is this campaign? So
40 Days for Life started in 2007 at College Station, Texas, and it was basically a program where a small group of people who had been praying regularly outside of a Planned Parenthood clinic there decided to do a 40-day period of prayer where they wanted to involve as many people as possible in just gathering together outside and praying for an end to abortion. The organization went from one location in 2007 for 40 days. They thought it'd be a one-time thing. Now that campaign runs 2 times a year. It's during the season of Lent. And then the main one is the season now during the fall. Started September 25th, runs through the first week in November. And, oh yeah, I scribbled it down. So
Notes.
This year they have over 500 cities in the United States. They've reached 816 different cities over time. And basically it started by people started calling them and say, hey, we heard about this on the news. We'd like to do it here. And that turned into a formal organization. So it was a very informal thing where they were working with basically an organization called Coalition for Life, which organizes different pro-life ministries in different cities. So Coalition for Life exists here in St. Louis. But the program grew out of that organization and then has spread now actually into 61 countries also.
Wow.
So it's all over the world. Yeah.
So what happens during this campaign, during these 40 days? What actually goes on?
So, like locally, I went to the kickoff, was just a small gathering outside of the Planned Parenthood, and they had a couple speakers. It was about 30 minutes long. But then other than that, they asked for folks to sign up. Well, let me back up. They asked for organizations essentially to take a day during those 40 days. Mm-hmm. And the organizations then try and get people to come and pray for 12 hours. So not an individual person for 12 hours, but to get folks to fill up basically from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they provide some simple ideas as far as prayers, but really what they're encouraging people to do is simply to come and to pray. The people who sign up, there's no expectation that they're going to be doing sidewalk counseling or trying to talk to people coming in. People may come and talk to you. They might just ask, hey, what you up to? Because the Planned Parenthood here in St. Louis is just east of the Barn Jewish Hospital Complex. So it's a very busy area. There's lots of people coming by there all the time. Mm-hmm. So I've been out there a couple times, and for the most part, you stand there and pray, and every once in a while you'll get somebody to honk a horn, because I'd say 60% of the time they appreciate what you're doing, and 40% of the time they may let you know that they would prefer you were doing something else. But otherwise, I mean, it's been a very positive experience. I mean, for me personally, in terms of the organization as a whole, I mean, in terms of people, they've had contact them and tell them that they've chosen life after talking to somebody who was at the vigil or just driving by, and I saw you out there praying, and I decided, you know what, this isn't what I want to do. They know of 16,000 lives that were saved. And I did hear on my way in, I was listening on the radio, that apparently Abby Johnson's going to be on later on Issues, Etc. today. And we can come back to her in a minute, because she's tied into 40 Days for Life. But she's the one who quotes that Planned Parenthood says the no-show rate for, so people not keeping their abortion appointments goes up by as much as 75%. So that 16,000 lives is kind of one thing, but then there's many beyond that who just decide to drive on by or not come, because there are those making the statement for life in a positive and prayerful way. Yeah.
So the approach to 40 Days for Life is all about prayer and is peaceful. What's the message of 40 Days for Life?
The message, 40 Days for Life.
Well, you know, sometimes when you talk about standing outside an abortion clinic or you know, outside of Planned Parenthood, it conjures up different images in our mind of what we see.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you or your listeners have had the chance to see the movie Unplanned, although I would also suggest the book that Abby wrote is phenomenal. And gives a much broader picture, but it highlights kind of what you're talking about there, that sometimes there have been those who have a more aggressive approach and confrontational approach to trying to stop the taking of unborn life. And the approach of 40 Days for Life is to look at the value of the workers in the facility, the women who are going in, and the unborn children, and seeing all of them as those who are being harmed. And so the mode of operation is very much, instead of merely arguing with people, although there's a place for having conversations, certainly, or leaving it to political ends, is to say, the Lord is ultimately the one who changes hearts and minds. And so to pray for people to have a change of heart in this particular instance, and then also to be able to hear the gospel, I think is really the heart of what they want to accomplish with 40 Days for Life.
We have just about a minute left. What do you want to share with us? What do we need to know if we want to participate in 40 Days for Life?
Yeah, absolutely. So Lutherans for Life of Missouri is sponsoring a day, and we figured a good day would be October 31st. Seems like a natural day for us to sponsor. Best way to sign up is to go to Lutherans for Life's website, the Missouri one. So that's lflofmo.org. Up at the top, you'll see 40 Days for Life. You can click on that and just sign up real simply, and then actually I'll be the one getting back to you. So lflofmo.org and look for 40 Days for Life.
And if you're not in the St. Louis area, as you shared earlier, there are 40 Days of Life going on all around the
country.
World. Yeah.
You can look at 40 Days for Life's website, and they'll connect you with a local campaign.
Pastor Jason Wagner, Hope Lutheran Church, High Ridge, Missouri District Life Coordinator. Thank you so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour this morning.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to have the chance to talk with our friends from Bethesda about job coaches. Stick around. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.